What's up, guys? So, let me just fix the camera here. Outside on my front balcony, second floor, Saturday morning at 7:30. I'm about to go do some welding for my dad at his place. Shouldn't take long, should take like half an hour. And my trailer full of wood chips to empty, because although it's Labor Day weekend, we have a job Sunday, tomorrow, and we have a job Monday. Although it's supposed to rain Monday, which is chill, and they're both easy jobs, pretty high paying, so it's pretty good. Not crazy, but Sunday's job is part of a two-parter, front yard, backyard, and we quoted the backyard first, which is the bigger job, and then they asked us to make a separate estimate for the front yard, so we did. And it was to pull a bunch of hedges out that were about 3 feet tall, and he wanted them pulled out. So we have a way to do this. We pull them out with the truck, and we tied a 3-to-1 advantage to a tree, or a 5-to-1 with one pulley or two pulleys, and it comes right out. So we charge $50 a stump, because we gotta fucking cut it up after and get rid of it and dump it. It's not free, fuck. So there are 12 of them. So 12 of them, that's fucking $600, bro. And he saw the estimate, and he said he saw $50 in the box, and it said, he's like, oh, $50? He's like, kind of expensive. I said, times 12, man. So yeah. And he had so 12, 50, fucking yeah, $600, and then trimming 2 trees, very easy. I almost felt bad, but I didn't, because they fucking haggled the shit out of me. These fucking Indians. So if you can fucking bargain with an Indian and get your price, you can bargain with anyone. Seriously. So what I wanted to talk about today, and for a while, I want to talk about Atlas Shrugged. And spoiler alert, okay, so if you're interested in either the books or the movies, then, and you don't want to know anything that happens, shut the video off now and go read it or watch it. You know, read it first if you want. But a bit of backstory about that. I'm going to be giving away a lot of spoilers. I'm going to do a series about Atlas Shrugged. It's part of entrepreneurship, but I'm not going to say it's formed a lot of my beliefs, because I read it just recently. I read it last winter, but it has reinforced things that I already believed. And I'm going to get into reasons why I think that you guys should read it. And it'll also explain a lot. It'll explain a lot about my mindset. And because I feel like I didn't read it a long time ago, like I said, I just read it recently. And I had recently, I'd heard whispers of it here and there, but I didn't know much about it. And anyway, after reading it, or should I say as I was reading it, even though it was written, 60 years ago, it was as if it was describing my life, things that had literally happened to me, not metaphorically, literally. And again, if you sub to me, probably they've happened to you too. Like a video that garnered me a lot of subscribers, it was like the rebirth of my channel, kind of. I made a video how and why I got fired from my job, because basically 2 years ago, I was the only one working at a place that I worked at, and I told the boss that I wanted a raise because I was doing all the work, and he told me that I would get a raise in 3 months just like everybody else, and in the meantime, either keep doing the work or don't. And I said, well, if I don't do it, no one's going to do it. And he said, oh, Greg, don't worry. And then he got really pissed off. He changed, he told me to go back to work, and at the end of the day he came back and told me that I insulted him by telling them that he was no good at his job, which I did tell him. Yeah. And I said he was late all the time, and I said everyone was always late, and I have no fucking patience for that, because I'm tired of fucking picking up after people. And I'm tired of double timing it, because people don't fucking show up. So, and he says, well, by that logic, he says, you should be the boss. I said, you're right, I should. And I would fucking fire you right away, I said, because you're fucking useless. So, anyway, a lot of, yeah, okay, it's anecdotal, but things like that happen in the book a lot, okay? And if you know that you're very productive and you're very hardworking, but you've gotten a fucking bum deal, and people take advantage of you and you're tired of it, then read this book, okay? And if you have any interest in starting a business, read this fucking book, man. It's gonna help you so much. If you have any interest in the red pill, this is like the fucking, I would say the ultimate fucking red pill, you know? Like, because it's not women, it's a fucking state. It's all the state, it's all the government. The government is your fucking enemy. And you're, like I said, you're either gonna love this book or you're gonna hate this book. And it creates a divide. Because it's like watching, when I started watching off-grid videos, a couple of years ago, I thought they were cool, but ultimately the content did not resonate with me because it made me aware of my own shortcomings and how ultimately if the shit hit the fan, I was not ready. I was renting, I was very fucking dependent on other people, even though I worked and everything like that, but I thought that's all that mattered. A lot of guys, they think that that's all that matters, or they think being single is all that matters. And this book, this line of thinking is going to sting a little bit for you guys. And there's a lot of failed libertarians out there and failed anarcho-capitalists out there, and that say, oh well, it's not going to work because most people would never go along with it, or the entire government would never adopt an anarcho-capitalist model, which is basically no government. And as far as I'm concerned, like, the government should be there to fucking enforce borders, like, that's it. Or it should be non-existent. Everything should be privatized. Yes, it would work. And if it doesn't, then it fucking doesn't. But how can you trust? Governments run businesses now and they regulate everything. So how can you trust a group of people that have no knowledge, no experience in running a business to regulate how businesses are run? It does not make sense. And it's like this in every other facet. So I would not trust the government to pick the clothes that I wear. So why would I fucking trust them to fucking mandate my healthcare plan? This is beyond the color of a t-shirt, my friends. This is fucking serious shit. This is fucking life and death. And people with the family broken up, which is the plan of Agenda 21 and all this other stuff along similar lines, to a globalist fucking world government, but breaking a family up and people have nowhere to turn but the government. Like, I have blue-pilled parents and they're boomers, and they're pretty conservative as far as boomers go, but they're by no means conservatives. By no means conservatives. Like, they love taxes and stuff, and they love the government, and they like welfare for people who really need it, and abortion is a woman's right because it's her body, and you're just wrong if you think otherwise. You're wrong. Aggressively, you're wrong. And the only thing that matters is certification or authority. Always listen to parents, always listen to teachers, always listen to the government, always listen to your boss. Always listen to anyone telling you what to do. So if you're like this and this book is not for you, or maybe it is, because maybe it'll slap you awake out of your fucking simphood, but if you hate all this shit, then read this fucking book, because you don't want anyone running your life. And people they have their grubby fucking paws all up in your fucking business. And the book basically, it starts off with people, it shows a divide. The people who contribute and people who just fucking take and loot and mooch. Actually, the government employees are called looters in the book. It's fucking amazing. I love it. So basically all the productive people, the evil capitalists in every other book and every other story, these are the good guys, because they create jobs and they create wealth and they create value. And at first they lead pretty empty lives because all they want to do is work, and they do these great things all day, every day, and the world does not appreciate them, but the world just takes and takes and takes and takes, and they're meant to shoulder the burden because they're able to. And at first they're kind of okay with this, but it's really sad because at night, they fucking stay up looking at the stars basically after working fucking 20 hours a day. They still take the time to fucking walk home and appreciate what little they can in life, and they stay up pretty much all alone because they have no one to share their success with, or no one to even sit back and like revel in what they did with. And eventually, you know, like-minded individuals start to congregate, and one of them, this guy is a fucking shit, by the way, but he basically convinces every entrepreneur, every successful person, every pillar of the earth, he convinces them that they're too good for this world, and the world does not deserve, you know, the beautiful gifts that they have bestowed upon it, especially upon receiving nothing in return. And one by one, you know, they all get red-pilled and they leave. And it's not about changing the world, okay? It's about leaving the world to the fucking looters that they fucking built, and let them fucking get by without us. But in order to do this, you have to completely step out of the blue-pilled world. And this is what really frustrates me, because a lot of libertarians are going to say it's nothing more than a fantasy, because they're not real libertarians, they're not real anarcho-capitalists. They work for the government, or they work for a big corporation or a union or something, and yeah, they get on board with the idea of it, but they fucking sold out. And they sold out, and they have one foot, if not both feet, fucking planted in the fucking blue-pilled world. Then they have a blue-pilled mortgage and a blue-pilled job that promises blue-pilled benefits in a 45-year fucking time frame, just before you fucking retire and just before you die, at fucking 30% of your fucking salary. That's gonna increase maybe 1% every couple of years, not even enough to match inflation, by the way. So these are the guys that say that Atlas Shrugged would never work, you know, because, like, you know, you need the government for some things. No, it's just because you can't fucking handle it. And anyone that's saying it doesn't work, anyone that's saying that privatized society doesn't work, it's because they have nothing to fucking offer that fucking society. They have no fucking skills, yet they're making a living now by conning someone into giving them a fucking lifelong fucking salary with benefits and social advantages and a pension. Watch Patrick Bet-David's video about this, about bringing value, you know, as an employee, versus looking for value for your employer to provide for you. What are you bringing to the table? What have you done to earn all these benefits? And let's say only 1% is paying for everything, and the other 99% are fucking looting and mooching off that 1%. The 1% is smart enough to fucking produce more than everyone, so it's not going to be that long before the 1% realizes that shit is not fucking even and he's fucking leaving. So that's exactly what happens in the book. It's what happens when the 1% gets fed up and they leave, and they basically buy a fucking plot of land and they start their own fucking society, and they have their own currency. It's just gold, and like, it's fucking awesome. Well, how did they get gold? Very interesting, because all the money that was taxed off them for global charities and stuff like that to go to third world countries, it was fucking stolen back by one of the fucking good guys who's a fucking pirate. And this guy fucking hates Robin Hood, and he wants to erase the stain of Robin Hood from history because he thinks Robin Hood was an evil man. So this guy Ragnar, his life mission is to steal from the poor and give back to the rich, or steal from the unproductive and lazy poor and give back to the fucking productive rich. So all the rich get taxed, and their money gets like ordered to be given to charities in third world countries and like division of wealth and all that shit. And then this pirate, he just fucking sinks all the boats and fucking steals the fucking money, and then he converts it to gold and he brings it to this fucking society that they fucking made, that's completely hidden and it's completely unregulated. And you know, the really fucking beautiful thing about this is that, you know, the industrialists, they moved to this society, and they all do different things from what they did in the blue-pilled world. They do whatever they wanted to do, you know, and they do different jobs. And like, a philosopher, he decides to open a vineyard, for example, because he's wanted to do that. And you know, it's sad because all these guys give up their businesses, but the business does not make you. It's your mind. And you know, it's like my chainsaw. If I leave my chainsaw here and I fucking take off and never come back, okay, you know, someone could pick it up and they'll have a chainsaw. But but doesn't mean that they'll be able to do everything I did with it in all my videos and outside my videos. You know, that's me. That's because of this. That's because of this. You know, that's so this leftist belief that kind of the wheel is Wakanda and shit. That anyone would be fucking super successful if the fucking vibranium meteorite would have landed in your town. Okay, fine. You think that's fucking true? Okay, my steel mills that I built from the fucking ground up, I'm just gonna fucking leave. And I'm gonna leave them fucking behind. And let's see how you fucking operate them with no fucking instructions and without having fucking built them from scratch. You think you can just come and fucking ride on my shoulders? And come when the getting is good and then you don't need me anymore? Alright, fine. Like, cause you'll see, it's not the products that I made. It's my mind that's the most valuable thing. And that's what they do. The men of the mind fucking withdraw from the world and the world fucking crumbles. And the guy that fucking starts it, John Galt, he does it because he works for this company, 20th Century Motor Corporation, and it's a great company at first, and then the owner dies, and then he left it to his 3 kids, and his 3 kids that did not build it, they basically run it into the ground with a socialist fucking model, and they flatten the fucking pay scale, and they decide to give everyone the same salary, and it's basic fucking pittance. Have you guys ever worked for a company that's done this, by the way? I have. And it sucked, man. It's shit. And Ayn Rand called this shit 60 fucking years ago. And it's happening today. So don't say it's a fucking fantasy. And you gotta fucking leave this shit. Like, you fucking have to. Like, find a fucking way. And look, the other thing, yeah, so they flatten the fucking pay scale, basically. And there's a lot more to it than that. I'm gonna make several videos about that. And this one guy, John Galt, he says, fuck you. He says, I don't fucking accept it. And he says, I'm gonna fucking leave and I'm gonna stop the motor of the world. And he does. And this guy even invents a fucking engine that basically runs on fucking nothing. And it's a source of free energy. It's like a Tesla type thing. And he leaves it fucking purposely, like, incomplete. And he leaves it behind as a trail, you know, just to fucking taunt them. And he says, look, you know, you're so close. I can even leave it to you, but you're never gonna fucking figure it out unless I fucking want you to. And, you know, they run this fucking anarcho-capitalist society, you know, on free energy. And yeah, it's a pipe dream. Okay, well, look, man, you can live off grid, right? Anyone can. People do all the time. And there are little off-grid fucking communities. So this is exactly what that is, but it's with extremely fucking successful and fucking rich people that decide to fucking go there. So, you know, it's, if you delude yourself into thinking it's nothing more than a fantasy, then enjoy fucking living in the Matrix. But as you guys know, man, this has been my goal for a long time. Hell, Mark and I even moved to the fucking country last winter, and we built a fucking cabin, like, to do exactly this. And this is what we were planning on doing, and we we're planning on getting more and more people and buying. We're still planning on it. We're buying 40 acres of land, like, eventually, you know, not in 10 years, in a year or 2 years, maybe even this year, as soon as we can. And we're gonna build on it. We're gonna build as many fucking cabins as we fucking can on it, and it's gonna be as self-sufficient as possible. And, you know, if you want to fucking buy some fucking land on our land, then we'll fucking talk. But it's not impossible, and you guys have to read this fucking book. Read it, even if you don't want to read the book. If you don't read books, watch the fucking movies. I read the synopsis for the book before I read it, and it didn't ruin anything. I knew what happened all throughout, it didn't ruin anything. And then I watched the movies first, because I couldn't get my hands on the book, and still, it didn't ruin anything. It didn't ruin anything. You will absolutely love this book, or you will hate it. If you hate it, get the fuck off my channel, because there's nothing it can teach you. Anyway, leave a thought in the comments downstairs. I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day, guys. Shadilay.